Too Many Men on the Mic, presented by Netfront LLC. Now here's Coach Drew and Coach Jared.
Oh, I love it. Oregon, baby. Oregon, baby. I mean, this is what's great about this podcast is we're showcasing youth hockey organizations from throughout the country. And I'm excited that we're showcasing Oregon for the first time. What do you think, Coach?
It's Hockey Week across America, and I don't think we can get further across America, staying in the continental United States and heading over to beautiful Portland, Oregon. Super excited to talk to our guest today. Brings a wealth of hockey knowledge from his playing days and obviously what he's doing with the Portland Junior Winterhawks out there on the left coast. Where they've got some pretty good hockey, especially now. I'm interested to talk about with the NHL coming to the Pacific Northwest. They've got a great CHL team in Portland, and I'm just excited to again, be a coach and be a thief and steal great ideas and learn from other coaches.
So, Coach, what I'm most excited about is that we've never played, at least I've never played, a youth hockey tournament in Oregon. Have you?
No, have not. And, it's probably going to have to be on the list to make a trip out there at some point. I spent some time out in Bothell, Washington, which is a little bit north, obviously, of Portland, Oregon, but just a beautiful country out there. And now with, the Kraken, that have kind of like staked their claim. And I bet you even, when the Golden Knights, you've got, the Sharks, the Golden Knights and the Kraken kind of surrounding Portland. So you've probably got fans of all three NHL teams. You've got probably boys and girls, just excited to play out there. I'm interested to hear about that, but, again, just super interested to talk to our guest today, learn how he arrived in Portland. I almost said ended up, but Portland's a place you arrive. There's places in this world where you end up, but Portland is a place where you arrive. I just love that part of the country when I've been out there, and would be excited to really to get a chance to go out there and play. But before we bring our guest on, man, there's been some things going on here in St. Louis with our local NHL team.
Oh my gosh. We were on the backside of the conference roundtable where we ran all four of them. And oh my gosh, how fun to see these kids play and play out. And it ended in a unique situation. Chaminade winning their first championship in the municipal. So notch that belt, right?
Unbelievable finish in overtime. Kids that we had on the day before were all factors in that game. Chaminade took a big lead, that 2-0 lead going into the third, ended up going down 3-2, scores to tie it, and then DeSmet gets a power play with 3 minutes left in the game and doesn't get a shot off. And then fast forward to overtime, Gio with just a pro shot, and it was in. I know that folks thought it might have hit the crossbar and came out, but that hit back bar came out. The slow-mo, unless it was doctored by Chaminade, the slow-mo video confirmed that the refs got it right. But just an outstanding, excellent end to a wonderful season. Congratulations to Priory for winning the Wickenheiser Cup, Chaminade Red Devils for winning the Challenge Cup, and then Holt for winning the Founders Cup. And we were part of that whole process, broadcasting games to the season, talking to coaches, talking to players. I'm so proud of the fact that we got to give these kids, these young athletes and young student athletes, an opportunity to shine like some of their other co-student athletes do in other sports. And I'm excited for next season. Already talking about next season, but what a blast.
I love it. I love that we got to showcase these kids. And now we're picking it back up and we're going back on the tour across the country. And I love it. We're picking up Oregon because we have not talked to a youth hockey organization in the state of Oregon. So how lucky are we to have Bobby Reed, who is part of the Portland Junior Winterhawks organization. And Bobby, thanks for joining us here on the Too Many Men on the Mic podcast.
Hey, coaches. Thanks for the invite. I really appreciate it. I'm looking forward to the convo and seeing where it goes.
Oh, my gosh. You have played. You're from Canada. You played in U.S., and you've also played in Korea. Like, I just want to ride alongside of you. What has this been like?
Well, I mean, I think what you always have when people ask me stuff like that, I think one of the things you have to look at is just actually how blessed we are with opportunity with the game. And I think for me, just, I was able to, play major junior, tier 2 junior minor hockey all the way through. Then you go to college and play minor pro and travel. And for me, it's just the relationships along the way and the journey and the storyline. And, I'm just forever thankful for being able to play as long as I could. And it was under my narrative. It wasn't one of those narratives where, I know a lot of guys that, they had to stop because of injury. They had to stop because, they couldn't find the right place to go, the business, the industry itself. I'm just very blessed and thankful that of all the people that I met, all the places that I've been, and I just love the game and been able to go everywhere. So just really, really lucky and really blessed.
Well,
I love I love the humility, and I just have to say that it's so great to bring a Northwestern organization into youth hockey, because right now a lot of youth hockey is being built in the Southeast, the Florida Panthers, the Battle of Tampa Bay, or the Battle of Florida, I guess I should say. And so, how do you feel out there on the Northwestern coast where you're going? We got Seattle and we've got LA and we've got teams out here. We're out here playing hockey. How do you feel about that?
I love it. It's actually, being here with the Winterhawks, like that was just a no-brainer. When I was going through the conversations with the organization about, the opportunity of coming here, everybody knows about the Portland Winterhawks, right? The CHL, one of the most storied organizations. We're celebrating our 50 years. 50 years this year. We've been doing a whole year presentation of bringing in alumni, the top 50 players. This weekend, this Saturday, is a big weekend because it's our top 10. So everyone's pretty excited. The city's buzzing. We've got alumni dinners and everything. But for me growing up, I've been able to see, the Winterhawks in the Memorial Cup and, seeing what players they produce and just the buzz and the style of play. And then, first and foremost, when you have a guy like Mike Johnson, president GM, he is, he's the GOAT. He's development first, loves people, treats everybody like high-end class organization the way he is. And then you have the coaching staff, Kyle Gustafson, Sven Barchi, and Mike Finelli. They've been open the doors. They're great for collaboration. I love that, I can text them, call them, bounce ideas off. They can call me and say, hey, what's going on with this? We want to see what's up. And everybody's really a part of the youth organization. Like some places you go to and you'll have the big club and then you have the junior club and they're not connected. For me, that was one of the biggest things about coming here is there's just such an involvement from the parent club where it's constant development, constant professional development. It's just always hockey. But I just love that I can call Mike and I can talk to him. Hey, what about this? What about that? Or he can call me and say, hey, I'm thinking this. But I also love the collaboration of, what's like next week we're talking about what's our next steps after next season. Where are we going? Where do we want to be in 3 years? Where do we want to be in 5 years? And they just care so much and they're so passionate about it. And they just treat everybody the same, which is I love. And that's why they're a top organization. And for me, that's why it was a no-brainer, and even talking to guys that I played with that came through here, they were saying to me, like, you're crazy even thinking about this. Go, you'll love it. And the Pacific Northwest is beautiful. The people are great. It's beautiful. my wife and my son are very happy here. So that's 3/4 of the battle right there.
That's awesome. It's like, and then from like November on, it smells like a Christmas tree out there. I mean, the forest and the pine is just so, it's just great.
And it's one of the things when we were leaving Korea, they're just getting into Christmas and the novelty and the excitement behind it. And coming here, my wife and I would drive around, and 2 minutes down the road, there's a Christmas tree farm. And take my son's tree, taking it to Santa. We had to fly to Guam from Korea, from Seoul, just so we could do Christmas, because they celebrate Christmas in Guam. But we took him to Santa, and he was just he was young, he's only a year and a half, and he's looking at him like, what's going on? So this year when we took him to Santa, it was just, for me, that was like the stamp of like, we just made the right decision, because he was so excited to see Santa, telling Santa what I want for Christmas. And that's what it's about, right? It's about family, and it's about finding places that are home. And so here, this is home. Well,
you're hitting on, so with our show, we really have 3 pillars. We try to do things in threes, 3 periods in hockey, 3 goals for a hat trick. Right. But really our 3 pillars are players, coaches, and parents. And it really is, we've talked to so many folks around the country who have depth of hockey knowledge and experience like yourself. And some are like, I got into this because my kids, and I fell in love with it and I stuck with it. So I'm interested to kind of learn a little bit about what, the hockey scene for youth hockey is like in Portland. I mean, the organization, I think, started off in Edmonton as the Oil Kings, and then has been in Portland since the 70s. So it's not like hockey hasn't been around. I mean, it's been almost 50 years that there's been, junior hockey, semi-pro hockey, pro hockey in the Portland, Oregon area. What's it like at the grassroots level, though, as you're bringing in, the 6U and 8U? I think you guys call them Tommy's Tykes. Tom's Tykes. But talk a little bit about how you're developing the passion for this game. What's the population like, and how are you drawing on that talent? And then we can just kind of see where the conversation goes, talk about parenting, talk about coaching.
Right. So I think Portland does. We've done, I personally feel like, of the places that I've been to, foundation is the most important for anything for growth. And if you don't have a strong foundation where you're teaching not just hockey, you're teaching like the core sets of love, passion, but I think the most important word is enjoyment. I had a really good conversation with Joey Harrington, former starting quarterback for Oregon, and
former Detroit Lion. There you go.
Yeah, there you go.
Your Michigan reference, former Detroit Lion, Joey Harrington.
There you go. And that was part of the conversation, was fun and enjoyment. And that really stuck with me. So him and I chatted about it afterwards. And that really I was like, look, when we're looking at that 8U, 6U level, are we bringing enjoyment to that level? And then I was watching, observing, and it comes from the energy of the coaches. Like, you got to have the positive energy. You got to have the fist pumps. Like, no matter what, everyone has their ups and downs with their days. But when you come to that rink, let's just turn the world off and let's just love the game. Let's just be present, be in the moment. And at the end of the day, if the kids are smiling, they're having fun. Because my philosophy is, one, I tell coaches, like, it's about relationships. It's about enjoyment. And you got to come to the rink with a smile, and you got to leave the rink with a bigger smile. And if we're accomplishing that, and granted, right, there's days that you can't do all 3. But if we're doing that the majority of it, then we're checking the boxes. And so when we came here, we had an 8U and 6U program. Great. That's what a lot of people do. I'll give you a quick background of the whole Tom's Tykes. So head coach of the Winterhawks, Kyle Gustafson, and his brother, Derek Gustafson. Derek is a goalie coach, and he's been local. He's deep-rooted here. Both of the Gustafson family is deep-rooted with hockey. Tom is their dad. And Tom is one of the big drivers of starting hockey and keeping hockey going in Portland. And they started the program in 2019 as a few like novelty things that they did. Let's do a Tom Tykes here and Tom Tykes here. And I said, well, why don't we just rebrand our whole 8U, 6U program, and let's just encompass those initiatives. Let's just take the whole mission and the passion, and let's make that Tom's Tykes. So I talked, Mike Johnson, talked to Kyle Gustafson, talked about other people in the organization. They said, absolutely, fully support it. And, and we're talking about, achieve, we're talking about, the kids having passion, love for the game. We just finished in February. We just had the first Tom's Tykes tournament at the VMC where the Winterhawks play. It was a free tournament. We have a Winterhawks Foundation where, they collect money and they do for education and they do for give back community programs, initiatives. And we wanted to spark the program in the age group. And we wanted to be the drivers of, hey, we've got a free tournament here. We're gonna run a Tom's Tykes tournament. You can put your teams in. I think we had for the first year, we had 12 teams, 2 divisions, 6 in Division 1, which is basically major, your 8U kids, and then 6 in Division 2, which is our 6U kids. Split the ice, brought the boards out, split the ice, and we just went at it and had a blast. And that's what you see the trophies here. The mini Stanley Cup is Division 1.
I love it.
Division 2 winners right there. And there's right now we had 90 kids through the program right now. The goal is to have 100. Yeah, every year. I want to make sure we're rolling. We're having kids and we're pushing kids through our skate school all the way up to our Learn to Play, which we're going to be jumping on the Kraken. We'll be joining the Kraken Learn to Play come in May. And then from there, they bump into our Tom's Tykes. And then after that, hey, the world's your oyster. You can do our city metro or you can pump into our travel. But,
so I love it. I'm buying what you're selling. And so
you're catching what I'm throwing.
How do you get kids that I just have to ask? We do this tour across the country and we talk to different youth hockey organizations. And so I'm interested, and I know Jared is too, in just how do you get kids that have not been involved in hockey before to buy into this? How do you get them? How do you get them to get on board with this? Because I love what you're selling. I think it's fantastic. But I'm a hockey guy, and for a person that is not somebody that's rooted in it, how are you pitching that? What kind of outreach are you guys doing?
Yeah, and so that was like all part of the observation this year. This is my first year here. I got here. My family got here in June. So the first year, well, it's a lot of observation for me. It's a lot of asking questions, seeing what we're doing, what we're not doing, what are little tweaks we can do here, and how we can get better each day and moving on. One of the things that we do is we do the intermission games. We have three to four intermission games. We call them the mini games at the Hawks games. Right, kids sign up, let them go. Let's have a blast. We got a great working relationship with the Kraken now. So we did an intermission game in November. And did like a shootout, told the kids to celebrate, like really bring the energy and love it, But we also too, the reality is social media is a big seller too. So we have our social media guys, they filmed, they're out there and they created an experience out of it, which was great. Then what we do is around town, like what I like here, we live in a small town about 40 minutes just south of Portland, but it's one of those towns that still does parades. The town does festivals. Like it's really homey, right? And so we have
like Webster Groves.
Yeah, like we have a fan bony. We did the local festival parades. We're handing out like little tickets with QR codes, like come try hockey for free. You'll get a disc, all that kind of jazz. And I think one of the big things what we need to do next year, which I've been looking at is, and I'm an education guy. So I think if we really need to tap into the local elementary school market a little bit more. So what I would like to see happen, our Winterhawks do it. They have their set program. What I'd like to see is our older, like our 16Us are fantastic. They're going for nationals this year. They have a great team, great group of kids. I'd like to see them go into the schools and do some like little floor hockey sessions with the elementary.
That's right.
Collaborating with the school boards. Like, we're not overdoing it. We're just doing touch points here and there, hitting the schools. Same thing, sending stuff home. I think as long as what we're trying to really connect with the youngest groups you can get, and how hockey is fun. It's fast paced. It's team oriented. It's exciting, and you enjoy it, and keep promoting that. Then I think we're on the right path. Is there a template? No, there's not. But I think if you can just try to find ways where you're always making those relationships and connections, I think you're doing it right. And I'm biased, but I think we're doing okay.
I love it. Bob Mancini is one of the roots of our podcast and one of our favorite people, because he brings his whole mantra is bringing fun into hockey.
You have to.
So can you bring fun into hockey? And if you can bring fun into hockey, then you can develop hockey players and you can have hockey players keep coming back. But I love what you said about having these kids come back and kind of model, Jared.
Yep.
Is what I'm hearing is they'll come back and they'll show these kids, some hockey skills, right?
Last minute of play in this period.
Well, we gotta cut for a quick break. But we're gonna, we've got, in this new format that we're doing, we've got some longitude and latitude when it comes to our periods. But we're gonna take a quick break, pay a quick bill, and then as we come back, Drew, let's expand on that. And Bobby, I really want to hear about, how, not just when we're talking about the fun piece, but then the development, the radius of how far kids are going to play. And just, I'm still looking to get some more tips and tactics that we can steal and run our practice on Friday. So
collaboration.
All right. Well, let's head over and we're going to take a pause here and pay a bill. Well, that segment of Too Many Men on the Mic was brought to you by 5B Designs. St. Louis hockey families and business leaders, if you need custom gear that stands out and stands for something, it's time to meet 5B Designs. Founded by Shannon Brahini, a proud St. Louis mom and entrepreneur, 5B Designs is a woman-owned small business that brings purpose to custom apparel. Whether you're suiting up your youth or high school hockey team or leveling up your company's branded swag, 5B delivers top-notch quality with a personal touch. If you need a team store, no problem. Corporate polos or event giveaways, they've got you covered. 5B makes it easy with fast turnaround, flexible service, and designs your players or employees will love to wear. Check them out at stores.inksoft.com/5B Designs. That's the word 5. And if you're watching us on YouTube, feel free to go ahead and scan that QR code up in the corner of your screen and see what great gear and great service looks like. Hey, folks, if you're watching at home, you'll notice that we've got a new format here on YouTube. Go ahead and like and subscribe if you don't mind. It means the world to us. It's just a finger point clip for yourself. And then up there in the right-hand corner, you're going to see a QR code you can scan. It takes you right to our Instagram page. Some great content out there, some funny content. But most importantly, we're promoting all things youth hockey from USA Hockey all the way down to the local level. And you'll also get insights and first looks at our next episodes. So please go ahead, like and subscribe. Go ahead and scan that QR code, support the show. It means the world to us, and thank you for all the support. And now, back to the show.
Bobby, we're back, and we're talking about Portland youth hockey. So tell us, how do you develop? What's the landscape look like as you're developing coaches in the Portland community? Tell us a little bit about that, and how are you attracting coaches to take their great knowledge in youth hockey and pass it on to the next generation?
Right. I think this is a great conversation, and the conversation that developed can go everywhere, right? Like there's just so many angles and avenues, and it's a hot topic too in the industry is development. What is development? Who does what? Who does where? And as a player, they're always looking for that extra little ounce more development here and there. But I think the big thing comes down to coaches, right? And that's something that actually we're navigating right now because we have a wonderful coaching staff. And I think also we talked earlier about the value of Portland Winterhawks and the city of Portland. And it says a lot when players leave. They come here to play. They, create their families. They have their lives. And then they go play somewhere else, whether it's pro, college, whatever it is, but they come back. And for me, that is something like I've been talking to a lot of former players. We have a former captain of the Winterhawks in the organization coaching 14, Kilny Teixeira. We have a couple other guys that are, we got young kids, but we're a year out. Anton Cederholm, he played for the Winterhawks, draft pick, Vancouver, Swedish, U18 national team. He's ready. He's getting ready to come back. He's just, I just got to take care of a few things. Mike Forney, college hockey guy, played pro overseas, played with some of my buddies in Belfast. And just seeing that all these guys, they're like, yeah, and they want their kids to get into the system as well. And then we have players from elsewhere that are just here for whatever reason. We also have a group of coaches that, they're here, they're doing another industry work, and they come to Portland and they're like, hey, we want to get involved, we want to play. The other thing I noticed, which I didn't really see was here before, but there's actually a huge Canadian contingency here. There's a lot of Canadians in the greater Portland area, and of course they want to play, right? I'm from Canada and we love the game, and it's religion from some of the places where we're from.
I mean, it's the second best hockey country in the world right now.
Right now it is. Yeah. You just wait. I know we had to bring it up at some point, right? I'll give it to you. This is what I said. It's good for the game of hockey, and we have to let you at some point experience what a win feels like. Right? So anyway, getting back to development. But what some of the things that we have, and that's where I was saying earlier too, I think the benefits that we have is we have coaches that are, they're bought in. They love the system of what we're doing. They love the concepts of relationship enjoyment. I think that's first and foremost. And we also have them working on a curriculum for us that goes from our Tom Sykes all the way through to our 18U. Mm-hmm. So we have fluidity through the whole program. So coaches know, like, hey, this is what they should have learned last year. We're going to do a touch point at the beginning. Boom, we know this. Let's carry on. It's just easier for a coach as well. And if I can already kind of set your framework, it's not what you have to do, but it's something, your structure you can build off of, because I never want to restrict creativity from a coach. I think that's very important. And it's also great for coaches to have their own identities, right? You got to have your flair. You got to have your flavor. You got to have, your culture that you have with the team. But these are the things that we still teach. You got to play fast. You got to play hard. You got to compete, right? You got to have a strong work ethic. Like, those are intangibles that we're preparing players. If you have an opportunity to go to the next level, beautiful, great. But we also have to prepare to create quality human beings. And for me, I think that is probably the most important part and most important element is if you're creating, as a coach, if you're creating the excellent human being, you've done your job. You've done your job. We know we can teach the skill sets. We know we can drive that into them. We're going to do a great job at that. So that's also tied into the development, how we help coaches. So we always have touch points. Right now we're in the conversations of we're going to do a coaches clinic. We also have an extensive metro, which is our city league. And there's about 200 players in that, 220 players in that. And so we want to help those coaches because a lot of them are just volunteer dads who just want to help. And, even we got some moms and they just want to help and provide opportunity for their kids. So what can I do to help them? All right, Mike Johnson. Yeah, I'm keen. I want to do it. He's a driver of it. Kyle Gustafson, great. Sven Barchi, great. Mike Finelli, great. Bobby Reed, great. But then we've also got great coaches already within our youth system that have a lot of great assets. Simple things like how to do a proper and healthy video session, right? Any coach can pop on YouTube, show clips, talk about their previous game. We can do that too. But how do you break it down? How do you, we know that a time frame attention span of 12U compared to a 16, 17U, a lot different, right? And how can we be great quality teachers? So we want to make sure, so that's things that we do, right? We make sure that we're having conversations, observation. I think what I've got rolling out now too is I think self-evaluation is important, right? You got to be able to look back at yourself and go like, hey, right, every day is not the best day. But if I'm taking steps forward to get to where I want to be, then that we're on the right path. Right?
Well,
I love it.
Well, Coach Bobby, I'd love to have you at a practice because I'm buying what you're selling. I love everything that you just laid out there. And Coach Jared, I'm sure you have many comments that you'd like to piggyback on that. Yeah. But I love the focus around just the player, right? Mm-hmm. The human. We're going to teach these kids to be better humans. And we're just happening to do it through hockey. But I know Coach Jared subscribes to that model, so I'm going to let him chime in too.
Well, I love your education background. My mom was a teacher and then got into administration, and her whole focus, she turned me on to this author called Carol Dweck, who has this PhD. She wrote this book called Mindset, which it's amazing how much you can relate the challenges that are just naturally a part of sports and competition to everyday life, whether it's business, whether it's your school, whether it's your relationships with, friends and family. And I love the fact that you focus on the human element. Bob Mancini has this great story, and it's about coaching, where especially if you're coaching 6U and 8U, you see the kids that you're doing something over here, and then you got kids doing snow angels on the ice. A bad coach, or I would say an average coach, says, "Hey, get off the ice, stop doing snow angels, pay attention." A good coach, is like, "Oh man, those are great snow angels." But an awesome coach gets down on the ice and does snow angels with
them.
And so, and I take that mentality from Bob, who's, I think, one of the great coaching, youth coaches in this country. And I think as we start to build our practice plans, even at the high school level, when you would assume their attention span is greater, but it's not. They're doing, it's keeping them involved, but it's caring. I think the first thing out of, Coach Drew's mouth or my mouth when we see a kid is, "How was your day? How was your week?" Because we see him on Fridays, or we'll see him on a Tuesday or Wednesday night. "How was your day? How was your week? What's going on?" Talking about things that, how, the Blues game. Did you see the Blues game? Hey, did you see Hellebuck's save on Tays? That was great. And so I'm interested, especially as you're developing parent coaches who maybe played t-ball or basketball or football or youth hockey to a certain point, but don't have that exposure to coaches that, is inherent with high-level hockey players or people who started coaching at a younger age out of college or out of junior or out of pro. How are you gifting those coaches with that insight? And I'm assuming a lot of it is they gotta go through the experience of failure. But what you talked about your coaching curriculum outside of the X's and O's and working on edge work and third man high and all that good stuff. What are you guys doing with a lot of the talent that you have at the top end of your coaching and staff to help instill that culture and environment for all your coaches, especially the ones that are new to hockey?
Well, I think we have to create coming here. One of the challenges was when I was meeting with coaches, they said that, collaboration was hard because our bubble of Portland coaches are traveling all the time. And then you have 3 quarters that are, if not almost, I think all but 2 at the time, our dads at full-time jobs and moms full-time jobs. And, the collaboration happens that 15 minutes when you get into the coach's room before you're ready to hit the ice, or a quick text message here and there. So for me, I was asking coaches like, okay, well, when it comes to collaboration, like what are the actual challenges? It's probably not that it's not that they don't want to do it. It's the opportunities, providing opportunity where we can put them in a room together and we can say, hey, okay, this is what we need to do. So we started this year. We had monthly coaches meetings. We'd pick a night, and say, okay, and then have a topic. Obviously they're getting to know me. So I ran the first 3 where just said, okay, here we go. But again, the teacher in me is intro activity, content activity. Okay, collaboration, let's go. And you got to give them provided time to do what they need to do as a group, and putting them in situations where they're working with other levels, because it's nice to have a 16U, AAA coach working with a 10U AA coach. But I also think it's even better when you have a single A or a city league coach working with, like I said, the highest level coaches.
Right.
What they need to see is the content is the same. It's just you're simplifying or you're making it harder, right? So that's where we have to look at the drills. Yeah, these are the same drills, but how do we simplify that? It's got to happen by collaboration. One of the things that they have had established here before I got here, which is a great job, is a former player, Winterhawks player, deep root here, Taylor Peters. His son's in the Tom Sykes program, and PD's the director of player development. What PD does is he's created we would do a lot of stuff through our Google Docs. He's created a document where he literally has every single team on a tab, with every single player. He does touch points with every team, and he can give feedback. And so they're live working planning documents where you don't have to meet face to face all the time, but you can do things, boom, comment, hey, what about this player? How'd this go? PD, I'm looking at doing these drills. Is this good progression? Ding, ding, ding. Get on a call, boom. And there you go. We have to use the elements and we have to use technology to really work hard, but work smart. And that's something that we really brought into play more, is using tech efficiently, respecting time, but also been talking to a lot of the really experienced coaches and just saying, hey, I want you to help our Tom's Tykes group for this reason. It's about the kids, great. Having your presence on the ice is great, but it's also about the coaches that are in it. Because we have two coaches with really good backgrounds in the program. The rest of them are dads that are like, hey, I want to help. I want to be right. I'll run the drill. I'll do this. But now what I want is, I also want growth. So let's say, like example, I had one dad who came up to me and he said, hey, I had a wonderful year. I learned so much from Coach Taylor. I want to take a bigger role next year. Amazing. That's what I want. I want coaches, right, to feel like, hey, I'm empowered. I've learned enough, and now I want to get after it. Fantastic. Then I also want to know nice, good timing. And then, I want them to know they have the support. So now the other option is, the other things that we're doing, like I said, is the coaches clinics. Respectful of the Winterhawks time, because their staff is busy, right? They have their stuff, they do what they do. But now we're aligning, like, okay, things are winding down. We're looking at the calendar. Where can we plug this stuff in? First and foremost, we look after our home team. We look after our association, our organization, our staff. But now we're having conversations of like, hey, one of my goals coming here was, how do I make the game better in Oregon? What can I do to help hockey in Oregon? Obviously, Winterhawks are number one, but now we got to look at the big picture, right? And so now we're having conversations on, do we offer coaches clinics for all the coaches within the state of Oregon? We have a really great working relationship with Vancouver, Washington. Let's include them. Let's get them here. And what does that look like? And so these are things that haven't really, there's been a lot of chatter and talk to do it, but now it's like, okay, I think we're in a position where we've got to make this stuff happen. And the coaches want it. And if they want it, then let's try to do it. And then you just build, right? You just try it, and you get better the next year, year after year.
Bobby, I love it. So if the Too Many Men on the Mic show, two coaches, took our podcast on the road and we took it up to Oregon, could we get a sheet of ice, and could we get you out there, and could we get a group of kids, and could we help those kids get better at hockey? What do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's something that's actually kind of what we're looking at. I'm sure you guys are aware of the coaches site.
Yeah. I just logged into it. I just joined that site 2 days ago.
Great. So one of my friends is Aaron Wilbur, and Aaron is the CEO and creator of the coaches site. And I remember seeing this years ago, his mind map of the coaches site. And how I met him is in Korea. Nobody was doing camps or clinics. They weren't bringing specialty people in. They had no contacts. So the other guy I was with, I said, hey, we need to reach out and see what we can do. Reached out to the NHL, reached out to the Alumni Association, tapping our resources, talking to guys I former played with, boom, boom, boom. Aaron was working with the Vancouver Canucks at the time. So him and Troy Ward came over, and we did an amazing week-long camp with our kids, Vancouver Canucks thing. It was awesome. And then we always stayed in contact, and seeing what he's done with that, like, I love what he's done, because he's created a platform for the everyday coach. It's not just for the NHL coach. It's not just for the college coach.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
For us, right? And the concepts that he has, I'm like, that's how it should be done. You can have your classroom sessions, your collaboration sessions, and you can have your on ice practical. That way, because I'm very much a visual learner. Guess what? I bet you 90% of our players are visual learners too.
Oh, they're visual in doing it.
Right, in action, kinesthetic learning. You got to
failing at doing it. That's the key.
Right, so that's I think that's something that I'd like to see build for me. That's one of my goals, is now being here and seeing what's in the Pacific Northwest region and what we have to offer in the Pacific alone. I think that would be that would be something I'd love to do.
We want to promote it.
Yeah, do stuff on ice, classrooms. We have the facilities, we have the people. Let's get after it.
It's funny because people ask me, and I know Drew gets this question too. It's like, why do you do this? How do you do this? How do you find time? And I'm just like, I'm having fun. Like I'm literally, I'm having so much fun coaching, and what I have found with the coaches who I've really come to know and respect, they enjoy it. It's like they can't imagine not coaching, and you can build that from being a voluntold dad or mom to I'm coaching, now for, after my kids have aged out. And so, that joy is so important. And part of what our goal here as a hockey community and as a medium for the hockey community is to partner with places like the Coaches Site. We're going to be talking with them next week to see about if there's an opportunity there, to talking to folks like yourself and how can we spread the word, so that maybe instead of getting 100 kids, you get 110. And then what happens? Now you've got 110 potential families down the road 15 years from now that are going to have their kids. And that's how Team USA continues to be number one in hockey in the world. So
last minute of play in this period.
Nice. Okay, we're done.
This period.
So with that said, we got to take another quick break. We're going to pay another bill here. Love to keep you along if you've got another 20, 25 minutes to
absolutely,
talk,
guys.
to go from talking about coaches to let's talk the fun stuff about how we're developing and how you and your staff and the people who have passion in Portland, are developing these kids to be great humans and doing it through great hockey. So we'll be back in a moment after we pay a quick bill.
Just because the winter weather is coming to an end and doesn't mean that the hockey stops. Sign up for your team with Big Bear tournaments for one or more of their spring 2026 events. Starting on April 24th through May 15th, join them at their prime spring locations, which include Chicago, Ann Arbor, Detroit, Washington, D.C., and Lake Tahoe. Exact dates and full details can be found at bigbeartournaments.com. As always, tell them Too Many Men on the Mic sent you for exclusive savings. That is bigbeartournaments.com, your home for youth hockey tournaments. If you are watching us out on YouTube or whatever device you're on, don't forget to click on the QR code up at the top right-hand side to get information on Too Many Men on the Mic and all the great content that we're hosting today.
And we're back here joined by Bobby Reed from the Portland Junior Winterhawks. And Bobby, just a phenomenal first two periods of the show, and can't thank you for spending some time with us here tonight.
All right, I gotta have a strong third period here.
Oh man, I think we're protecting a 2-goal lead, which is the hardest lead to protect in hockey.
That's right.
So, we've talked about the coaching development and the passion in developing great human beings. One of the things that Drew and I did when we first started this show is we did some focus groups where we brought in new hockey parents, specifically hockey moms, and new hockey coaches. Level 1, sometimes level 2 coaches who oftentimes are out there moving cones and are like just trying to stay up on the skates themselves. And we wanted to build a community that kind of gives some wisdom and great advice to the young and new coaches out there, and even some of the older coaches like myself who love to steal from great coaches. So talk a little bit about, as you're bringing kids through 8U and 6U and really teaching them, skills and compete level more than anything, and then graduating and kind of getting into more of the concepts and even more skills and then systems. How are you and your staff kind of adapting the curriculum that's out there from USA Hockey that we go through and making it, the Portland Winterhawk, way? What are some things that you have found help your players be successful both on and off the ice? And how are you developing? What are some of those things that are those key concepts for you?
Right. So you hit something right there on the head, is the Winterhawk way. I mean, that's one of the things that we do. It comes from the big club all the way down through our youth organization, and we start talking about that at the Tom Sykes age. What's the Winterhawk way? What's the Winterhawk way? How do we play? So there's 4 things we play that's embedded in our system, right? You have your skating, you have your skills, your hockey sense, and compete. Those are the 4 big pillars within how our style of play. This is how we play. Even the big club, those are the 4 big things. This is how we play. Well, coaches will always be right. Yeah, we know how to teach you skating. We know how to do skills. Hockey sense is usually the one that's the hardest one. Like, how do you teach hockey sense? So we're having more conversations on how does hockey sense show up in your practices and in the compete, right? We know what compete is. Our practice designs are small area games. We do a lot of half sheets. So, we have 3 teams. Let's example, I'll just break down 12U. We have 3 teams in our 12U. Excuse me, black, red, white. The blacks and the reds, they split the ice at the same time, right? And coaches, one thing I've said, skating's really important to me, but it's also really important in today's game. Excuse me. And if you can't skate in today's game, right, it's going to be hard for you to move the progression of the opportunity. Right. And our objective is to provide access and opportunity. That's what we're here to do. It's up to the player to have the accountability, right, and to come and do it and implement it and put the time in. We're here to give you access to all the resources, coaches, rinks, right, equipment, tournaments, teams, whatever, and then provide the opportunity. The opportunity is us making sure that we're taking those pillars. How are they showing up in every single practice that you do, right? So one of the things that I found when I was observing our half ice practices, I said to the coaches, particularly 12U and with our 14U, which is a good core group, how much time are you spending specifically on skating? And I don't mean skating in the drill. I mean focused on skating.
Right.
And I'm a big fan of the Swedish model. So I really like learning about what they're doing and how they're teaching and how many NHL and pros they're producing. But I also like watching Swedes play. I just like how they play. I've played with them. I've played against them. Phenomenal, right? I just like how they play.
You need to go back and listen to our August 14th episode. We were talking to John Lynn from Swedish Hockey Federation. It was amazing.
We had the Swedish team leaders on. Yes.
Yeah, and it's and that's why I like Anton. I loved having conversations with Anton about it. Connected me with his dad. Used to be a director of a program over there, and we're connecting. And I want to go over and start building a relationship with them where they can send players here, we can send players there, coaches here, coaches there, and just kind of do something reciprocal. Anyway,
right.
But that's the things that we look at. And so for me, when we're talking about development, right, development for a 16U is a heck of a lot different from an 8U, 6U, right? I don't believe that in today's game. I think from a 12 down, you don't really have to focus solely on systems. I think at 12, you can start touching on some points, your power plays, your PKs, all that kind of zone stuff, right? Positioning. But don't take away, the game today is such a high-paced thinker's game. And we have to put players in positions where they're experiencing high stress, quick thought process, decision-making, critical thinking skills, teamwork, compete, all those, right?
Read and react. That is
read and react.
And scan. Read, react, and scan.
Scanning, let the puck do the work. What we talk about, and I had to talk to a team too about, we mentioned about playing fast. And I sat with a couple players. I'm like, what's playing fast? I know what it is, but I want to hear from you. What's playing fast? Right. Their concept of playing fast is just, skating really fast. We're skating around really fast, right? And so I had to break it down. So I went to the coaches and I said, look, we got to break down. We got to teach what playing fast looks like, not just tell them what it is. We got it. So that's where the video sessions, right? So that's also a key element of the hockey IQ and the development. Is we have to utilize our time efficiently and effectively. So now we've looked at practices, making sure, hey, are we touching on all those points? Yes. How are we doing it? Well, this is how we can identify it. Next point, tell your players, this is what we're doing and why. This is what it looks like and why. And this is how we're preparing you and why. Okay.
I love it. I love the focus on the hockey IQ because I've caught myself, Coach Jared, in the last week. We've been apart from each other, but what I've caught myself watching is some of the Pee Wee Quebec tournament. And what I caught myself watching is just the placement of the puck and the puck support. And so some of those teams that made it to the very end, it's that hockey sense. It's that not only am I going to handle the puck in a certain way, but I'm going to leave it in a place that's going to be perfect for, or near perfect, for my teammate that's going on.
Right.
And so
the players know why that's happening, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Well, and I think the playing fast, it's so the first thing everybody says, even some coaches, well, skating faster, skating harder. And it's like, no, moving the puck faster, forcing the opponent to make a decision when they're not prepared to, being up. And, I'm a forecheck. Like if all a kid does is forecheck, he or she will never miss a shift. And I'm forechecking all three zones, obviously.
And it's also though too, like I think we tend to forget, like, yeah, you move the puck, but when you move it, you got to go.
Where are you going? Yeah, right. Don't watch your pass.
You got to give.
Don't just watch your pass.
Right.
I am. There we go. Give and go, baby. Give and go.
So that's kind of like we break down the practices, and like I said, this year's been a great observation, but we're also pretty lucky that we have a core staff with the WHL crew that they can help.
Yeah.
They can chime in where we need it. They've got kids in the program. They're able to hop on the ice when they can. There's no expectation for it, but they just love doing it. And then when we look at our practices for development, then we also have to look at, like, to me, it's really important to know, and this is the relationship side, what matters to the players, right? Where do you want to go with this journey? Where do you want to be for your next step? Because the reality is the hockey journey is a lifetime. I'm a snippet, right? I'm this much of it, but I want to do the best I can in that snippet that it carries you to the next. Right.
I love that message. I love that message. We go through that at the high school level here in St. Louis because we're dealing with kids for 4 years, which is that's not a common, because most birth years are bracketed major minor and depending on the size of your organization. We've got this wonderful opportunity, Drew and I, where we're taking kids from 6th, 7th, and 8th grade all the way through senior year if they continue to stay in town. And, I talk to kids, and I know Drew does as well, boys and girls both. It's like, do you want to be a senior all-star? Do you want to be a part of a team that wins a championship? What are those things that you have to do individually, but also recognize that, whether you have a letter on your jersey, the way you operate and behave, that's leadership. You're leading yourself, and people see you as a great example. And I love that idea of almost starting with the end in mind first, and that piece of being that snippet. When kids come back to you and say, what, when I coach Bobby, this is, that stayed with me all the way through. I was 23 years old playing, ACHA hockey at the University of Oregon. I mean, that's the key right there. But it's also fun to teach forechecking. It's also fun to teach taking away time and space. And I mean, and so
those are intangibles. You have to do it.
You love it, right?
Like it's just that's the purity. That's what I love about the game is there's things that will never leave the game. Right? You're always gonna have a forecheck. You're always gonna have to know in your position in the D zone. You're always gonna have a power play PK. But I think one thing that
defensemen will always complain about the forwards up.
Well, of course, yeah. Like the D got burnouts.
They're too high. They're too high.
Blue line,
Yeah, they're too high. They're too high.
Yeah, and I think for me too, the other part of it is we can't restrict creativity. I love having players. Like I had a coach in junior. His name was Brian Huff, and Brian's son was Mike Huff, who was the captain of the Nordiques, Quebec Nordiques, back in like early '90s, right? Mm-hmm. But Huffer would always say, from the red line down. Remember, this is back in mid '90s. In the red line down, he was like, "We're gonna have our D zone." He's like, "I'm gonna control that. And you're gonna do it the best you can." But he was like, "I don't want to restrict you from the red line up. I want you to make plays. I want you to be creative. We'll have our set plays where you got to move because you got to have a little bit of. You got to have a foundation for kids to go off of. You got to have something for players to branch." But he was like, "I'll never restrict you from trying things as long as it's not a pizza giveaway up the middle and then 3 minutes left in the game, right?"
Yeah.
For me,
you gotta learn how to play
Yeah, like he was like the first coach. You know, I was an impressionable 15-year-old, and that was one of the first coaches that, yeah, he was hard. He was old school, but he still let you play the game because he understood the purity and the creativity of it. And that was mid-90s. And now you progress to today. The players are so creative today, and it's kind of scary how creative they can be.
But you know what? But you know what? I love that as a D man. I'm a D man, and I'm a stay-at-home D man, and so it even resonates more with me. So you know, you're going to come up to the blue line, but then or to the center line, and then everything on the other side of the center line. You know what? Take a chance. Try some things. Push your boundaries.
Yeah.
Figure out what works for you, and that's where you can develop players. So I love that mentality.
Well, and it's when, like we talked earlier about facilitating mistakes. You know, you got to let them make those mistakes to learn from those mistakes. Yeah. And you know, I love going to the Winterhawks practices, going to their games, and I have always loved, high flying D, right? Let the D second tier offense, you zip the puck, get up there, enjoy it, embrace it, right? But make sure you get back, right? Make sure you get back to help out.
Right. Yeah. Make sure you don't sell out.
Yeah. But seeing the smiles on the kids where they're like, it's like you're cutting the reins off and you're saying, yeah, I'm going to let you go. Yeah. Of course, there's going to be some learning moments, but we're going to talk through it.
Not bubble hockey anymore.
Right. Like there's so much motion and action going on the ice today. You know, getting the puck, eyes up, and they're zipping it. Like they're right away going for a breakaway pass. And, there's players are stretching the zone. Like the game is fantastic. It's a fun, great game now. And I'm excited to see where it's going to go for the future.
We're running scissor plays and getting the D involved and finding lanes. I mean, that's this game. And that's what's fun. Right. And it's also, we have gotten to a point in I used to be a huge whiteboard, and Drew can attest to this as having coached with me for the last few years.
He does have a whiteboard.
I've started to put the whiteboard away, and we're walking through these small area games, and we're creating constraints within the small area games. The kids are failing, or the kids are adding their own constraints. And what we're finding is our defensemen, I try to coach, and I Drew does as well, is the minute the puck's on your stick, no matter where you are in the ice, your team is on offense. And so if you are a defenseman at the faceoff, but you have the puck on your stick and you're at the top of the circle in our zone, and there's a lane in front of you, I don't care if you're a defenseman or not, you are now on offense. And if there's a lane, take it. And as long as you're making decisions before you hit each line, because we use those as landmarks, go all the way down and score. I mean, Cale Makar, Matthew Schaefer, Quinn Hughes. I mean, that's fun hockey. And it's a throwback, to Bobby Orr and then right. Even the Russian Five, where it's like, depending on where you are in time and space on the ice and who has the puck on your team, that dictates where you are. And you're going to try and find a place to score, or you're going to be able to support and play, and get the puck back.
And that also aligns with the conversation of like how hockey's even losing positions other than faceoffs.
Yep. That's
right.
Exactly.
There's so much pace and constant motion. D are rushing up, like Cale Makar, going up, coming back. The centers are swooping. Like you look at the power play and they're coming all the way back and then coming up through the gut. And I love those types of conversations. It's nice, and I think we need to have those conversations.
I mean, Devon Tays was down by the goal when Hellebuyck made that.
He was right in front of the net before Hellebuyck stopped him.
I actually listened to Hellebuyck talk about that play today. It was amazing. But I want to go back to one of the things you said about creativity, and I was watching. This was several years ago. I was watching this coach. You may have heard of him, Marty St. Louis. Yep. He was coaching Bantams in Connecticut. This is before he got his day job here in Montreal. And he kept with this same phrase the whole practice: "Show me what you got. Show me what you got." And it was like he would have a structure, and they were interviewing him, and that was an eye opener for me. As a coach, it's like, well, here's this guy. He's coaching kids at the same level that I'm coaching. and he's been paid to win games at the highest level where there is so much structure and so much, systems. And here he is telling these kids at 14 and 13 years old, hey man, show me what you got. Have fun. Show me what you got. And, that was an eye opener for me as a coach. And, I'm not encouraging the Michigans, but if you can do it, do it.
Well, but again, like at a youth level, though, that's the purity of it. That's the why. Like that's why we play, the excitement, the fast pace. I often tell coaches and players, you got to play the game with fear and arrogance. And it's that comes from the great Crash Davis and Bull Durham.
That's right. That's right.
And I love that line because it's so true. And if you can figure it out and toe the line, that's how you play. Boom. Yeah.
Crash
you hit the bull, win a steak, boys.
I love it.
Yeah.
Well, Coach, we're coming up on an hour here. I could probably talk with you, and I know Drew could for another hour. We talked. One of the things that we love to do is get with great coaches like yourself and do some whiteboarding so we can put together into our little coaching portfolio little drills and small area games. Not sure if you put some thought behind it, but if you want to play around with a little bit of technology, we can draw up a small area game or a drill that you find really, really the kids love that our coaches in our community can download and take.
And let me add to that. One of our favorite guests on this show is Bob Mancini, and what Bob brings is fun to hockey. That's the root of everything, is making hockey fun. So I guess what I would challenge you, Bobby, is what's a fun hockey drill that can get your players coming back to the rink and say, it's that drill where I'm sure you've experienced this before, where they go, where you're about to blow the whistle and they're like, no, can I just do one more? Can I do one more? Can I do one more? Right? What's that drill for you?
Yeah, I mean, there's a few out there. I read the message you guys gave. I didn't read it until like 15 minutes before we started, but there's a few, and I think because our 16Us are getting ready and they're going to nationals, I was on the ice with them, a few weeks back, and there was one drill that I saw that the coach was like, we were doing. He's like, well, what do you want to do? And I was like, all right, let's do this. And we were starting with it was one of the going to be their compete day. Mm-hmm. And I said, okay, well, what do you guys do stuff like? Do you want to play for something? Some of the losing teams got to pick up the pucks at the end of practice, or the winning guy, the losing team's got to untie the skates of the losing.
Right,
it's something fun. You guys,
I like that one.
Right, yeah, like you guys set the parameters, and then let's get after it and let's compete. And this is like our fun start drill, and how we have it set up. So I got my board here too, so I can help with a little bit. To set it up.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
for sure.
Yeah. Right. So if we're right, we got the zone here. You have net here, right? You got it set up like that.
All right. So let's you got the nets. Let's place one net right there. One net right there.
Yeah, but they're facing the corners. The two nets are facing the corners.
Even better.
Yeah, the two nets are facing the corners. So what you're starting, this is like a first drill where I said the players set the parameters. And you say, okay, what are we playing for? We're going to set the compete today. Let's have fun. Let's get after it. Right. Let's go. And then what you have is, right, you have, you might start, it'd be 2-on-2 in zone. So let's just do O's, whatever, like that.
Yeah, hang on. Let me get rid of some of these extra.
Yeah, we got 45 nets out there.
Well, I'm used to. I've had. Yeah, we're
just throw as many nets as you can out there. We'll make it work.
Hey, man,
you can't have enough goalies.
Can never have enough goalies.
Yeah.
So let's.
Goalies are getting 150 shots a game, but
we're gonna move. We'll just move down. Well, you know what? We'll move the nets down to the other end of the ice, and we'll delete them before we save it. All right. So we got 2-on-2, right?
Yeah, and it's a 2-on-2.
Where are we placing the players here? Let's see.
Okay, so the players are down low. They're in the corner, right? They're down low. They're underneath the net, so they're shooting towards the net.
Okay, so 2-on-2 in each corner.
Yeah, 2-on-2. You have a total of 8 players, right? So
gotcha.
Circles are one team, the X's are the other team. Whatever the colors might be, black, white, right?
Okay. So we got P1, P2, and then we'll do red because red's a we got to change colors. Do red.
There we go.
P1 and
your
P2.
extra players are kind of just off to the side. They're plugged in the middle so the puck doesn't scoot to the other side.
So they're you got them like in here,
like right in there.
Gotcha.
You don't want to put them behind the net because guaranteed you're going to have your
you'll get
drinking a water bottle or talking to somebody and they get a puck off the side of the head.
So we just got them like that. My setup good so far?
Yeah, even in tighter, like down low, like by the goal line kind of thing, or they're on the other side of the net against the boards.
Gotcha.
We don't go behind the net because, like I said, that's where one of them most likely will get ripped puck right off the face or something.
Well, let's move these guys out of here then. And we're using Drift Hockey, by the way, which is kind of a competitor to some of the other ones out there. But this is also a software site we'd love to introduce you to. Our guy Brian Dolan. It kind of combines Team Snap and Huddle and IHS all in one. So all right, so we got these 2-on-2 here down low.
So it's pretty set up. So each side is going at the same time, right?
Gotcha.
But we know we have two teams. Whatever, red's on one team, blue's on the other team. Mm-hmm. When whistle starts, they get 30 seconds, right? And you always have you have your two coaches, and they're just feeding pucks in. So how it works is like you get your 30-second shift, but we're setting the parameters for, let's say, whatever we're playing for, 8 minutes, 7 minutes, whatever, 8 minutes, kind of however I want to let it run for on that day, right? So then both sides are going at the same time, and it's just an in tight 2-on-2. The objective is, you want to score. You mentioned earlier that you did an offensive drill that no matter who has the puck, you're automatically on offense. Yep. That's exactly what's happening here, but we're banging bodies, right? It's full contact. We're playing a 2-on-2. We want tight space, fast pace. I want collision. I want compete, and I want to see goals scored. If you got to jam it in, jam it in. If you want to bury shelf, bury shelf. The other thing I always tell them too is that when you score, I want you to celebrate, enjoy it, have fun with it. When you bury that puck, let's hear a hum. Let's get the energy up. Let's get the compete ready to go. Let's start chirping each other. Let's have fun by playing hockey.
Love it.
Let's get into it, right?
Love it.
And so we go 30-second shifts, right? I'll time it. Whistle goes. We're engaged. Okay. So if the puck exits, like we know, if the puck misses the net, second puck. Puck goes in, another puck. You get 30 seconds to score as many goals as you want, and then we just keep tallying. All right, blue got 2 that shift. Oh, red got 2 on the other side. Well, they cross out. It's still 0-0, right?
I love it. It's just high intensity, 30 seconds, game on, gloves off, chirping, trash talking for 30 seconds. You just get in and get dirty, right?
Let's have fun. And then the team loves it. I've done it with multiple levels. The most competitive teams actually probably do it at the highest of pace. And then when you put something on, on the line, that makes it a little more fun. But I always like them setting a parameter for it. Like, hey,
if I could ask something on the line, what is it? Is it bag skate at the end of practice? Is it guys eating chicken sandwiches and watching guys skate at the next practice? What is it?
Yeah, it kind of different. Personally, I mean, my philosophy is that if we're having a high tempo and high pace and high compete practice, you shouldn't have to bag skate at the end.
Right.
You shouldn't have to do it. It's already should be done.
Right, exactly.
So we'll put something like I said, like, hey, red beats blue. Guess what? Blue, you're undoing the skates of the red guys. Or, Juice Boy. We got Gatorade in the locker room. Guess what? You guys partner up. You gotta get them Gator. If they want 2, you get them 2. If they want 3, you get them 3. That's part of it, right? Don't lose next time. Let's compete and let's win it.
Exactly.
And I think it's a good way to set the tempo early in the practice too. You're including enjoyment. You've got a small area, high compete game. You're using all skill sets, quick hands, quick feet, body contact, puck protection. Like, it's all the intangibles you want. And if it's done right, you've now set a good tone for your practice, whatever that next step, whatever that next drill. I often tell coaches, if you start with that, have something that's comparable, because their mindset is already going to be there.
Right.
Don't go into,
Don't go
we're
down.
gonna go right. Don't go into
go
we're
down.
gonna do D-zone coverage now. Like
Yeah.
go
I mean,
into an extension right after that.
You're playing in a phone booth. You're playing in the hard areas. The kids don't know what a phone booth is today, but what do you call this drill? I'm naming it 2v2 Portland phone booth. But what do you guys, when you say, hey boys and girls, we're doing this? What do you call it?
Yeah, normally I say in tight 2v2 compete. Let's go. Right, 2v2 compete. Let's go. I've got names for all those other drills, but
I like phone booth Cortland. Phone booth Portland.
Call it the phone booth PDX. The PDX phone booth. And there you go.
All right.
Yeah, and it's also too, it's low maintenance to set up early. Players can get it, nets can be moved. Again, we are huge. Our huge practice structure and philosophy is split ice practices. So it's a good way to utilize your ice time and get things rolling right away. And then we move into another battle drill, or you move into something else right away. So
I love it. Well, we're gonna publish this. It'll be on our website. Again, head over to our Instagram, Too Many Men on the Mic podcast, and head over to our website at www.tooManyMenOnTheMic.com. That's the number 2, and you'll have access to all these great drills and practice games from not only Coach Bobby Reed, but from folks from USA Hockey and from folks all around the country. In fact, all around the world. Well, Bobby, man, I can't tell you how grateful I am that you joined us here today. I hope you had a little bit of fun. I think we could probably talk for another hour and 10 minutes. But I know I've learned. I think Drew has established that we're going to be hopefully taking a trip out to Portland soon.
Yeah.
Guys, absolutely. Let's go.
Yeah, it's been great. I appreciate it. As you can tell, I'm really passionate about the game, and I love it. And I think having more conversations like this and open platforms, and it's fantastic. And a little push. We actually are hosting tournaments this year.
Oh,
so
really?
We've got, yeah. So weekend hockey tournaments. We partnered up with them. We're going to host Labor Day, Columbus Day. We're hosting, what else? We're hosting in November around Veterans Day, and then we got another one in March. So if you guys want to come, you let me know, and I can send you all the info, and would love to have you.
Well, we would love to broadcast that and share that with our community out there. But Bobby, I love you bringing a voice to Oregon hockey on the Too Many Men on the Mic show. And I would love nothing more than to come up and do a practice with you guys. So thanks for spending the time with us.
Yeah, anytime. We're always open. We love having people come in and do things. It's great.
Have a great spring. Have an awesome summer, and we will absolutely be in touch. We'll circle back with you. We'll make sure that you get copies of all the links. Share it with everybody in your organization. Let's spread the word. And I'd love to come out there. But thanks so much for giving us some of your time tonight.
Great.
I learned a lot.
Appreciate it, gents.
Thanks, Bobby.
Right. Take care.
Thanks, guys.
I mean, I
awesome.
love it. I mean, we've conquered so many states. We've conquered Nebraska. We've conquered Alabama. We've conquered Florida. I mean, we've even, I don't know, have we conquered Michigan? I think we probably have, but there's so many Michigan teams. And so I just love hearing the voices of youth hockey from far away, from places that maybe you haven't heard of from before. But how great is it that Oregon hockey has a guy like Bobby that's out here leading the charge? I mean, he has a plan, and he's got great drills on top of it.
I love the fact he's a teacher. He has his degree in education, physical education and social studies. And I love how the beginning of his conversation with us was looking at things from a growth mindset and an education, and utilizing that to make sure the kids have fun. Just from my vantage point, as a guy who's always trying to become a better coach, so that we've said this all the time, our number one job is that the kids come back the next year. And, if you're having fun and doing it with a pure heart, they're having fun. And that's what's going to grow the game. That's what's going to, make it enjoyable. but yeah, so grateful that we could have Bobby on. And honestly, I'm grateful that our maiden voyage producing our own show seems to be going off without a hitch. Now we'll see how it gets uploaded and sent out to the masses. But
well, that's all you, Coach Jared. You've done a fantastic job of navigating us through this maiden journey. But how great is it to have Oregon hockey and a little bit of a preview next week? Yep. We're going to have Alaska hockey. Yes, Alaska, one of the states of the United States. And we are going to hear a little bit about one of the biggest youth hockey tournaments in the country that is hosted by Alaska. And I can't wait to hear about that.
Well, my experience with Alaska is at Nationals at 14U for Brendan's team. We played a team from Alaska, and it was a fun, competitive game. They put Team Alaska together, came down, and almost gave us what for. So I'm excited to talk to folks from Alaska. Oh, Scotty Gomez, one of the great, who's coaching now. I believe he's coaching up in the BCHL. But yeah, just excited as always to be on this journey with you across the country. It's great that it's hockey week across America. And, for those of you out there following USA Hockey and Hockey Week across America, today is Hockey for Every Day. So take some time, go out and see what it's like for folks who haven't always had access to hockey and share some stories and listen to some stories about people who are helping grow this game in a lot of different ways than the traditional, what we've come to know as the traditional hockey player and hockey organizations. So great that we're celebrating Hockey's for Everyone. Speaking of hockey being for everyone, I guess there was a trade that happened in the NHL today. Did you hear anything about that? Talking about a defenseman moving on from St. Louis. Did that go through?
Are you sticking me? Is that what's happening now?
No, I'm sticking. Here's what I'm saying. Buffalo, the prime competitor for the Wings, just picked up Colton Planko, and now the Wings have less than 48 hours to figure something out. I'm getting a little nervous that the Wings are going to get left out in the cold. So I would love to grab Franco.
I'll just say this: nobody, and I mean nobody that was in the youth hockey community, I felt like had Colton Parayko on their bingo card.
No way.
Okay, it was not on their bingo card. Here's who was on their bingo card. It was Robert Thomas, and it was Jordan Kyrou, and it was Jordan Binnington, and it was Braden Shen. Those were the guys that were on the bingo card. So I just have to say, and maybe Falk. Yeah. So just the fact that Colton Parayko got moved, I just say, nobody had that on their bingo card. A little bit of a surprise for me.
Well, I think they got a pretty good return. I think they got their number one prospect and a first-round draft choice. So Armstrong's not going to get taken to the cleaners. He's one of the best GMs around. He keeps the Blues. They're kind of like they're always competitive, even when they're in a down year like this year. They still play hard. So, having lived here for 20 years, I come to appreciate the Blues way. And seeing Parayko move on, Pietrangelo moved on, and I think Armstrong knows what he's doing. So
I mean, that says a lot from a guy coming from Detroit.
Hey man, I've gone through some tough times here that I was not used to in my formative years when it came to the Wings. But knock on wood, they make a deal. I would have loved to have had Parayko in Detroit, but we'll see. Hopefully we'll do something. But how'd the Knights game go before you joined us? Did I show up?
You don't want to know how that Knights game.
All right, I won't ask. I'm sorry.
Went, but what I will pivot to is that we have Alaska hockey next week. So if you're interested in continuing the youth hockey journey and hearing great coaches that are contributing to the youth hockey game, we're going to have some Alaska youth hockey, which I can't wait to hear about. And they have this incredible tournament that is one of the largest youth hockey tournaments in the entire country. So I can't wait to hear about it next week. So if you weren't able to tune in this week, or if you're listening now on the backside, make sure you tune in next week.
Yep. Be sure to like and subscribe so you get all our updates for our great content. Like and subscribe here on YouTube if you're watching us. Go up to the top right corner, hit the QR code to follow us on Instagram. And if you're listening to us on Spotify, Apple, Amazon, or iHeart, please rate, like, follow, all those great things. Download us if you can't listen to us live. We really appreciate the support. We're going to be doing even more to give back to the community, bringing some great content, some fun content, and getting a lot of youth hockey players and youth hockey coaches involved. So, Coach, I think that's a wrap. I think we are officially
Last minute of play in this period.
And he shoots, he scores. Thanks, everybody. Have a wonderful day and wonderful evening, and we'll talk to you soon.